In the very south of Croatia is an ancient city with roots dating back to the 7th century. Dubrovnik is one of the best preserved medieval towns in the world. It is a popular tourist destination, and with good reason. As well as being home to fortresses and towering city walls, Dubrovnik contains an abundance of delicious restaurants and is only a stone throw away from some of the country's most scenic beaches. Join me as I spend the next 3 days seeking out the best spots in Dubrovnik. I first laid eyes on Dubrovnik from my plane window as I came into land. After marvelling at Croatia's magnificent islands and rocky coastline, I noticed the ancient city, standing proudly on the coast. This was my first time in Croatia, a long country in Europe which hugs the Adriatic Sea and contains over 1,200 islands. I was planning on seeing as much of Croatia as possible, hiring a car and embarking on over a week-long road trip. Dubrovnik in the far south was my first stop on my Croatian road trip. We have arrived in Croatia. We are at Dubrovnik Airport and we're about to pick up our rental car. Here's our car. Okay, let's go. Our Airbnb was just on the outskirts of Dubrovnik city, which was a convenient 20-minute drive from the airport. Oh, hello! Oh, nice to see you. Wow, what nice views. And I've lost them. Up here. We've just arrived at our accommodation in Dubrovnik, so I'll just give you a quick apartment tour before I mess it up. We enter into this door here. And then here we have the main living area. We have a table over here, the TV, air conditioning, a little seating area here, and the kitchen. And then we have the bedroom in here, some air conditioning. And then down here, a little cabinet, we have a toilet, a washing machine, the sink, and the shower. And then finally, and this is the best part, we have our own private balcony. Here it is, overlooking Dubrovnik. I mean, what a view. There's a dog down here, a little friend. Aww. The sun is setting. It's been a long day of travel, and the first thing I want to do is check out one of the local restaurants here. I am hungry and I can't wait to try some of the local cuisine. We headed to a local restaurant, which had been highly recommended to us by our host. The restaurant was Konoba Banaka, just outside the city of Dubrovnik. The restaurant was nestled in a ria, a drowned river valley which opens to the sea, with small boats bobbing in the river and majestic mountains in the background. It really was the perfect spot to grab a bite to eat. So my drink has arrived. I've ordered a small glass of white wine, really local wine from the Dubrovnik region. Give it a taste. That is really good. It's really smooth and really crisp. It doesn't have an acidity. It's really good. We made sure to order the most traditional dishes on the menu. Lewis ordered a local craft beer, and then for our meal we tried a dirty macaroni, which consisted of homemade pasta with beef slices. We also had slow-cooked beef with homemade gnocchi. The food was fantastic, far exceeding my expectations. Tonight had been a great start to our time in Croatia. Good morning. I've got up, well, I tried to get up early, but because it was such a long day yesterday and we had a late one, it's 8 AM. You can probably see from behind me it's a little overcast right now. It was originally forecast for storms yesterday, today, all the way through till Monday, but I'm glad to see that it's actually changing. In fact, even as I speak, there is like sunlight illuminating a bit of the city. It's still a good day to journey down to the Old Town and explore. There's a little kitty. But first, it's time to have some tea. I've just made the tea, and I noticed it looks a little bit strange with bits in it. So I thought, what on earth did I buy last night from the store that I thought was milk? This yogurt, and you know what? I think it's yogurt, and the tea tastes like yogurt. I mean, it's not too bad. I will drink it, but milk is definitely required later. The yogurt thing actually worked better for my cereal, because I don't actually eat cereal because I find it makes my mouth dirty, but the yogurt looks pretty nice with it. But look at these teas. Weird. This one's the worst. At least we have a nice view. After polishing off some breakfast, we made our way down to Dubrovnik City. Okay, it is clear to go. The path down. Dubrovnik is made up of two parts. There's the modern city, which is what most of Dubrovnik is comprised of. Then, at the bottom right corner of the city, is the famous Old Town. The walk down to the city was steep and downhill, down cobbled paths which ran between residential houses. Eventually, we reached the waterfront in a neighbourhood known as Gruz. Here, Dubrovnik's main harbour and ferry terminal are located, as well as a large green market, which is open daily, selling fresh, local produce. It looked like to make the most of the green market, you had to arrive very early, and arriving at 10 a.m. meant we had just missed the bulk of it. Gruz used to be a separate town from Dubrovnik. Wealthy families would vacate here during summer months. Large waterfront mansions from these times are still visible today. Our plan had been to walk all the way to the Old Town, but after wandering around the city for an hour and seeming no closer to our destination, we decided to hop in an Uber. The drive took 10 minutes and cost only £4. We were dropped outside Pile Gate, the main entrance to the Old Town. Built in the 15th century, the entrance used to have a wooden drawbridge, which pulled up at night for safety. Walking over the stone bridge and gazing at the Old Town's towering walls, I couldn't help but feel awestruck. This town had roots dating back to the 7th century. The interior of the town is made up of narrow cobbled streets, which house an abundance of restaurants, cafés, shops and several ice cream parlours.
So what happened here?
I got the ice cream in a cone, and then I went to get some waters, and the ice cream melted all in Lewis's hands. I had too much in my hand. I've taken it all back, and the ice cream's going everywhere. And we've stumbled across this shrine with a million cats outside it. And there's one here, and they're just everywhere, and it's just... As you can probably tell, I was very excited to be around so many cats. Oh, that's so cute. Someone's feeding them this little sardine things down. Oh, no. There's one. No. Oh. I could have stayed with the cats all day, but there was exploring to do. We bought tickets for Dubrovnik's main attraction, the Walls of Dubrovnik. It was a steep climb to the top, but the views were spectacular. From here we had a fantastic panoramic view of the Old Town. Here we are on the Wall of Dubrovnik. We've just started our tour, and to protect me from the sun I bought this hat. The walls on which we walked were built between the 7th and 17th century, undergoing constant alteration as the town went through difficult periods in history. The Old Town had been through a lot since being founded all those centuries ago. In 1296, a huge fire ripped through the town, devastating most of it. Then, a great earthquake in 1667 nearly destroyed the entire town. In 1806, one of many battles for ownership of the area saw 3,000 cannonballs fall on the town. Then, in 1991, the town suffered a lot of damage in the Croatian War of Independence. As a result of so much damage and restoration over the centuries, the Old Town which stands today contains monuments and structures, each dating back to different times. Walking the walls, I was mesmerised by so many gorgeous buildings and monuments, and then the storm blew in. Finding shelter on the exposed walls was a challenge, but eventually I spotted a huge parasol on the ground, which we opened up. Flocks of people raced over, all sheltering beneath the solitary umbrella. Finally, the torrential rain died down, and we were able to commence our walk around the Great Walls. There was something magical about walking atop walls that had been standing for centuries and thinking about all the people who had walked them before me. Plus, nothing could beat the views we were gifted with. Just offshore from the Old Town is Lokrum Island. The name comes from the Latin for sour fruit, derived from a tradition of cultivating exotic plants on the island. These days, just over 1,000 Croatians call this Old Town home. This is amazing. As we walked the walls, we saw some of the residents wandering in their gardens and even putting food down for cats. The Walls of Dubrovnik are 1,940 metres long, and it takes roughly 2 hours to complete the walk. It actually took me quite a bit longer than that, but I do have tendencies to stop and go up at everything. The highest point on the walls is 25 metres high. The Minseta Tower is the highest point, down to the north of the walls. It was built in 1319, and the views from the top are simply breathtaking. Walk complete, it was time to find somewhere to eat. Finished our walk of the walls, and we've now just found this little restaurant on one of the side streets in the Old Town called Trattoria Carmen, and I've ordered a steak. I've got some local wine here, and I can't wait to try it. Our food has arrived. I have got a beef, and we also have a fillet of sea bass. After food, we made our way back to the Old Town's entrance, passing my favourite spot in the entire town on the way, the Cat Shrine. Okay, it's not actually a cat shrine, but is known as the Church of the Holy Annunciation. Surrounded by cats, it would hold a special place in my heart. I didn't feel quite ready to leave the Old Town, but the darkening sky told me it was time to go. Tomorrow was my last day in the Dubrovnik region, and I had something very different planned for it. It was a new day in Dubrovnik. My goal for today was to visit one of the best beaches in the area. Today we were journeying to a coastal village called Cavtat, just a 30-minute drive from Dubrovnik city. On a peninsula surrounded by two harbours, Cavtat is an old village with roots that date back even before Dubrovnik. It was founded by the Greeks in the 6th century BC. In the 7th century it was destroyed, refugees fleeing to a nearby island, where they in fact built Dubrovnik. Cavtat was later rebuilt. The name Cavtat derives from the Latin for old city. We made our way down the main peninsula, finding ourselves in beautiful forests. It was peaceful, only the noise of some hidden insects keep us company.
Get the noise at least.
I'm filming them. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Just then, we found ourselves in the midst of a storm. Not quite what I'd expected for a planned day at the beach. Thunder boomed and lightning lit up the sky. Then the rain came pouring down. The storm showed no signs of stopping anytime soon, so we hastily made our way back to the village, hoping to find somewhere to shelter from the downpour. We just sat down for lunch at one of the best rated restaurants, which is called Bohem. I've ordered a tuna steak, so I'm excited to see what that's like. Our food has arrived, so Lewis has got some falafel, and I have got a tuna steak with sesame and black seeds. Oh my god, it looks so good. My tuna steak is incredible. It is so good. And I was trying to think of ways to describe it, and the best way that I can think of it is it tastes like a really rare blue fillet steak and some salmon sashimi, maybe. It's so good. For dessert, we have a chocolate cake. As soon as we'd finished lunch, the skies cleared and the sun shone down on Cavtat village. We made our way down the peninsula once more, stopping off at a beach bar for a quick drink before finally arriving at our destination, Cavtat Beach. We are at Cavtat Beach and I am donning a wonderful hairstyle because I cannot get my hair wet, even though I did slip in the water before. I'm gonna go swimming in here. It's lovely, clear water. We just gotta get over these rocks. Oh, a little crab! Most beaches in Croatia are rocky, and this beach was no exception. Whilst white sandy beaches are sought after by many, there are benefits to pebbly beaches. A lack of sand makes the waters incredibly clear. You just need to remember to bring your water shoes, which I stupidly left in the car. The water was warm and calm, and I marvelled at its clarity. The backdrop was also spectacular. Not the greatest photograph. After my dip in the ocean, it was time to head back to Dubrovnik and prepare for our final evening in the region. Our destination was Tavern Arka, a restaurant just north of Dubrovnik which had fantastic online reviews. We've arrived at the restaurant for our evening meal. We are at Tavern Arka. We've got some freshly baked bread. It's still warm because it's literally just come out of the oven. And the other special thing is it comes with olive oil, which the restaurant has made itself. We also have some local wine from the Dubrovnik region to try, which is really lovely. We have amazing views as well of the ocean. This restaurant's just outside of the main city of Dubrovnik, just a 10-minute drive, just across the bridge. It specialises in seafood. They have their own mussel farm. I don't eat too much seafood, but for main, I've got a John Dory fillet coming, and we also have some spare ribs to try. The food has arrived. Here is my John Dory, and we also have some spare ribs. Yum. Our bellies full, it was time to return to our Airbnb one final time. But our adventure was far from over. We had a big day planned tomorrow. We'd be journeying by car all the way from Dubrovnik to Split, having to pass through Bosnia on the way. It was going to be a huge drive, and I was nervous about what challenges it would entail.